Worse for Dennis in free meat, could it?
Well, that's a perfect strength shot by Steve, and these are never nice to play.
And Dennis has caught that much too thin, which has brought the white back now halfway down the table and gives Steve a chance to red into this right-hand corner pocket.
Seven. Eight. 15. $16.
Well, just a touch too far on the blue. I think it handled it all right, but I'd like to have been just a little bit straighter.
$90. $20. $27. $28. $35. $36.
Well, I wonder what Dennis is thinking. Perhaps hoping that it's going to change. His luck isn't certainly in at the moment.
$41.
No, two at a time now.
$49.
And for the first time, got in a little bit of trouble, but can still play the plant one onto the other one here, leaving himself on the black. And I think Steve is just checking if that top red will go into the right-hand corner pocket. So it doesn't need to disturb the reds yet.
$57.
Well, we obviously saw that a couple of shots ago.
61.
And how's that for a really beautiful stroke?
And obviously trying to make another plant here out of these two reds. And that red is enough to leave Dennis needing snookers once again.
$64. Steve Davis, 64.
So Steve Davis, 64 ahead, and 59 on the table, leaving Dennis snookers.
One. Seven. Eight. $50. $16.
Well, Steve Davis, he's really riding on the crest of a wave at the moment, brimful of confidence.
$22. 23. $30. 32.
Now, can he clip this one back? Of course he can. And just look at that positional shot there. Colossal check side, really magnificent.
$39. $44. 50. 57.
Well, a perfect performance by Steve Davis. 8 frames to 0.
I spent most of the afternoon.
Less than 6 months ago, it brought him his first major title, what was then snooker's richest prize, and completely deserted the Irishman. He was, as he said later, ashamed. So was there any way of stopping the most impressive-looking defending champion ever? Here's Davis in the next frame, the 9th, 20 points to 8 ahead. They've been playing this frame already for 20 minutes, and John Spencer has joined Jack Carnham in the commentary box. One. Wrong ball. Foul. Steve Davis 1, Dennis Taylor 4.
Well, another chance for Dennis here, red into the yellow pocket, but nothing easy. And particularly when you've been sat out as long as Dennis is, as these shots are very, very difficult. Fine. Again, just where he didn't want to be, very close up against the cushion.
Dennis Taylor 5.
Well, a little change of fortune there, but he could have done with a nice simple colour to get started. But that's not bad. Well, there's nothing easy here.
Dennis Taylor, 1. Foul, Dennis Taylor, 4. So Taylor ahead 23-21, and the Irishman had enjoyed, well, a little bit of the luck his countrymen are famous for. But 20 minutes later, after more of that cat-and-mouse snooker, Davis was ahead again, just the colours left.
Well, Dennis had to put a little bit of swerve on that, and as a consequence, he's lost his contact.
Well, in actual fact, he did get a little bit of a double kiss on the yellow there, which has just pushed it over the corner pocket.
Two.
Well, Steve Davis there at full stretch, in fact overstretched, and that could cost him his first frame.
And now wants to make sure he stays on the bulk side of the blue here, so they can just pot the blue and roll down for the pink.
7.
So Dennis Taylor needs the pink to break the ice. Well, a tremendous cheer there of encouragement to Dennis Taylor, who takes his first frame to trail by 8 frames to 1.
Well, Taylor must have thought he was never Taylor to play. He's 19-1 behind, but Davis has let him in. John Virgo and Clive Everton are now commentating.
Yes, and if Dennis Taylor's going to get back into this match, he's got to do it now. Davis seems to be tiring a little, perhaps, after his exertions and mental efforts in building up his commanding 9-3 lead. And Taylor must pull a few frames back tonight. If he leaves it till tomorrow, Davis will have had a night's rest. Three of the last 4 frames Taylor has won.
5. Nine. Ten. $16. $17.
Well, obviously the pink goes in the left corner pocket, and that'll help Dennis now. And Dennis could start to feel a little bit more confident here.
23. $24.
Yes, quite a change has come over Taylor in the last couple of frames. From looking terrible and no doubt feeling terrible, he's looking his old, alert, relaxed, but intent self.
And I think that shot summed it up, Clive. Very confident shot, opening the balls. It's come a little bit awkward, obviously, for the red he meant to be on. But one good positional shot here could clinch this frame. And that was a big shot from Dennis. Good position now on the pink and a great opportunity.
holding the cue ball on the pink spot,
36.
knowing that the pink would be respotted on the black spot.
37. $43.
Again, Taylor is over a ball for the red that he really wants to play. That was his second choice. But he may have the angle on the green here to continue his break.
Yes, Clive, and just these two reds now.
47.
We'll see Dennis narrow the gap even further.
Having been 8-0 down, this frame could pull him back to 9-4.
$56. $71. $73.
A 61 break to Taylor in the last frame. A possible 98 clearance in this.
76.
And he's again looking the player who knocked out Eddie Charlton, Cliff Thorburn and Tony Knowles.
80. $85. $91.
Breaks of 61 and 98 in consecutive frames then for Dennis Taylor. He wins 4 frames out of 5 and narrows the gap to 9 frames to 4.
The Irish Davis still ahead, remember, at 10-8, but he's 7 points behind now. Jim Meadowcroft is now with Clive Everton, and there's just one difficult red left.
Well, It may have appeared that Steve did play the pot, but in actual fact it was a safety shot that's gone wrong.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, the pressure showed there. Taylor having to roll the cue ball very slowly towards the red, hoping to hold position on the black. That's the first really bad shot that he's played for many, many frames.
One.
Well, the brown ball is dangerously close to the yellow, but I think from the correct position that Steve can probably pot it.
Eight. Ten.
The pink is awkwardly placed, but Davis doesn't need that. Colours to the blue will leave Taylor needing a snooker.
Steve Davis, 13.
Well, the chance is to and fro in this frame.
Far too important to allow spectators to call out. You ruin the game for the players, for the people, and yourselves. We'll have none of it. Thank you.
Well said, John Williams.
Well, this is a chance I'm sure that Dennis didn't expect to have. Unlike Steve, he requires both blue and pink to win the frame, and is not finished ideally to either pot the blue or gain position on the pink.
What pressure in this game.
That's where he's expecting the white ball to finish after he's played the pot on the blue.
Dennis Taylor, 4.
I detected the suspicion of a kick there, heavy sounding contact, and I think that was what made Taylor miss the pot. Having taken brown, though, it means that Davis now needs the pink as well. This for a 3-frame lead. That's pressure. Taylor needing pink and black to reduce his arrears to 1 frame.
I don't think that there's anyone better at playing with the left hand, but Dennis is not taking that chance.
A little more difficult to control the speed of the shot with the half bat than with the rest, or of course the bridge hand. Well, in almost any circumstances in the world he would have potted that, but he left himself with a cut instead of being right behind it, and in these circumstances it proved missable.
Well, no rushing to the table for this fella. He's already had 2 bites at the cherry and appreciates just how important this black is.
No sign of emotion, but I'm sure he's feeling some. The black enables Steve Davis to increase his lead to 11 frames to 8, 3 frames in front.
So that frame, typical of this championship's main ingredient, that word pressure. Remember, there is a...
Even get to a final session, but here we go in frame 25.
After all the build-up, all the ballyhoo, all the tension, Taylor's cue action straight as an arrow for that first red.
Dennis Taylor, 1.
Sad to say, there's a slight snatch in his action for that one though. As usual, the first few minutes of a session, very important. They can do so much for a player's confidence either way, and all the more so in the final session of a world final. That's what they're playing for. The trophy for the game's blue ribbon event, first won by Joe Davis in the year of its inception, 1927. Steve Davis, of course, no relation, but the third Davis to hold the trophy. Joe's younger brother Fred having won it 8 times.
Foul. Dennis Taylor, 4.
Taylor absolutely still, just as everything is here at the Crucible.
It was a big risk to take, but one that he thought would pay off. He was to make the pot. But he was hoping to get the white ball at least back into the baulk area, and certainly not to bring the red with it.
First to win 18 frames wins the title.
Six. Seven. 12. $13. 20. $21. $27. $28.
Perhaps not quite held the white ball as much as he would have liked, but nevertheless still on his intended red.
$35. $40. $41. $46. $47.
There's tremendous concentration and self-discipline gone into this break.
$54. $55.
All this coming from Taylor's first significant mistake.
Well, he desperately
62.
needed the first frame, I think, tonight. But all he can do is sit and watch.
$63.
Which means that Taylor now needs snookers. Not that he's going to get much chance to play for them, I think.
70. 71. $78. $79. $86.
A century that Steve Davis will be extremely happy with that frame winning 86.
But he's 2 points to 14 down.
1. Six. Seven. $12. 13. 20. 21. 27.
Well, would you believe that?
27. Eight. Nine.
Just a little bit short on that pink. Well, he's 6 behind, but it's not always easy to work the scores out when you're going through this tension. And Dennis getting nicely underneath the 3 reds there.
50.
And of course the problem red for Dennis will be the one on the left-hand cushion, because he will need that red to clinch this frame. Just 1 point in front at the moment.
$21. $22. $27. $28.
Oh, that's better. He's got the cue ball just right this time.
$33. $34.
Well, he's got an angle on the blue, but perhaps not quite as nice as he would have liked.
Well, certainly an excellent chance here to move the red. I'm just looking at the board now, which will tell him that he just wants this red plus the green or upwards to leave Dennis needing snookers. Sorry, Steve needing snookers.
$43.
Well, that'll make him feel safe. And what a frame to win this is for Dennis Taylor. Steve had this in his pocket at one time. Just made one mistake. So that means that the frame score is going to be 15-13, and the final session is going to be a real ding-dong.
57.
So 15-13. Steve Davis leads.
Well, normally Steve would not hesitate at having a go at that one.
Well, he couldn't have struck it much better than that.
Six. Seven.
This will be a big shot if he takes the blue one.
Steve Davis, 12.
Another unexpected miss from the world champion.
One. Six. 7.
Well, the reds at the top of the table are quite well spread, but still not easy to get good position.
Well, that one wobbled, and I bet his heart fluttered.
This could be the key shot for Dennis. Screwing onto the red, just to the right of the pink.
Just one problem. Red ball there on the side cushion.
$29. $36.
Dennis may even decide to knock the red out, which is safe, on the side cushion with this shot. $40.
Now, has he got the angle for this last red? He's moved it, but he can't cut it in. Break standing at 47. He's 22 points in front. Wants this frame to make the match all square. That was impossible. At this moment, Steve can only tie with the colours, but it won't stop there.
$54. $57. $61. $66.
And the world champion wondering what he has to do to get that coveted title.
Fantastic performance then, and another clearance by Dennis Taylor of 79. And the match is all square, 15 frames each.
Impossible shots, you could say an impossible story. After almost 2 days and 30 frames of play, nothing between them. Each man needed just 3 more to become world champion and take the record £60,000 prize. Well, Davis took the first of the last 5 to lead yet again, something that Taylor had never done in the whole of the match. So here, the defending champion leads 16-15, 46 points to 0 up in the next frame with Jim Meadowcroft and Ted Lowe commentating.
Things obviously getting a little sticky.
$6. $30. $14.
And that's the ball that counts.
$90. $20. 27.
Just as though it came out of a picture book.
$28. $35. Steve Davis, 35. Unfair.
No shortage of Davis fans, despite the obvious support for Taylor, who'd been the underdog from the start. 17-15 now, Davis needing just one more, and 3 chances in which to get it and become world champion for the 3rd year in a row. And Taylor, here in the next frame, gives him a big chance.
He's going to leave it over the pocket.
Has the angle here from the brown to break the reds.
Fine. Steve Davis, 6.
And he expected to get that. 31 points in front.
Six. Seven.
Just a stun on the paint will leave another red for Dennis in the opposite corner pocket. And this is a good chance for him.
13. $14.
They're hoping to be dead straight on the pink. That way he can just run through, and he's got a red again into the corner.
$20. $21.
He's within 4 points now.
27. $28.
Leaving the difficult red till last.
$36.
Well, he's not ideally placed to pop the colour and get good position on the red, but his alternative shot would be to pot the pink and then perhaps lay a snooker.
Well, I wouldn't like to have to play this one, Jim.
No, the difficulty of this shot is that because the red is so hard to pot along the cushion, he's probably going to play the snooker. That takes the pressure off him.
Dennis Taylor.
The Irish champion, fighting back once again.
Contact that whistle and it's going through the door, please. Where is it?
He really needs to hit the red off the back cushion. And hopefully if he can do that, he can maybe knock it safe and leave the white tight to the baulk cushion.
This last red could so easily settle this frame.
He held back a little bit on that shot, even though he was probably stretching a little bit too far.
Yes, Jimmy seemed to me to be slightly overreaching. And what a crucial stage of the frame.
Well, they're both feeling it out there. Dennis missed his more difficult red, but Steve, I'm sure, should have got that one.
Both looking at the scoreboard. There's 11 points in it.
One.
Now he wants the yellow and the green to make the frame safe.
He didn't want to cannon into the green, hoping to pass it and perhaps put the green in the centre pocket, but even though this is difficult, he'll still take it on.
Dennis Taylor, 10.
And very anxiously he looked to see if he'd got the snooker. extraordinary.
He's very unfortunate, Ted. It was a brave shot to play.
Steve Davis, 3.
And Dennis has done exactly the same. $22 points ahead, 18 points on the table. If he misses this blue, Steve can win.
He'd like to swerve around the pink, but unfortunately the white ball is so tight to the black that he can't cue at it.
He's missed it.
Dennis Taylor 4, Steve Davis 5.
Very unlucky for Dennis Taylor. The world champion still has to take 3 balls. The whole audience here at the Crucible, now in hushed anticipation. Another chance for Dennis Taylor. And it's there. And the audience as thrilled as Dennis Taylor as he saves the match. There's the setting here at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, where once again we bring you the dramas and excitement, the fun and the terrible things that happen on a snooker table.
Well. $17. $24. $25.
He's going to have to take quite a bit of care and attention here because the break is not absolutely straightforward. Still got a little bit of work to do to keep it going.
And still he hasn't got his hands on the title.
$31.
Thinking a couple of shots ahead, that's where he wants the cue ball to finish after potting this black.
38.
Camera angle shows you that the red is potable from there.
$39.
Well, the break goes to 44.
44.
And that's Dennis's 20th break in this final of 40 and above. His highest is 98.
Needed a slight angle and appears to be straight on the shot, in which case he's going to have to make certain he doesn't screw back into the centre pocket.
$45.
Not easy to cue over this red.
Not entirely certain whether that red will pot, but even if it did, it would be very dangerous.
He's yet to score at this frame.
He's tempted to play the pot on the pink.
$57.
Takes him into a 57 points to nil lead, and there's now a possible 75 points on the table.
Dennis Taylor.
Great effort then by the Irish champion. Any one of those 5 reds will do him after the pink.
Seven.
He's got the frame safe.
Do you mind, please?
And Dennis going for safety. He's 71 points ahead, and there's only 59 points on the table.
Dennis Taylor.
The World Snooker Final goes to its last round. All sorts of things very nearly happening, but nothing did. And he's relieved.
One. Eight. Nine. $16.
The world champion then, keeping that Q arm moving. That one frame still eludes him.
23.
Steve Davis then concedes that particular frame, and Dennis Taylor, a very satisfied Irishman, sits there with the frames all square, 17 each.
Watched it since 10 past 11 on the Sunday night. of the most remarkable World Championship final ever. One frame to play. 17 all. Wasn't doing any favours there, Dennis.
Well, I mean, with all the pressure to break off like that in the final frame, I mean, that's one of the best break-offs you can possibly get. I was in all sorts of trouble here.
That's very nice of you to say. Thank you very much. I'll comment on this next shot of yours, and I think you played quite a nice little shot here under the pressure as well.
Well, you'd probably say it was a deliberate miss.
Well, there was the red that went into the top left-hand corner pocket here, but of course you played onto the top cushion, knowing that I couldn't play to pot it because the black was covered with the red.
Yeah, that was right, and then pink was tied up as well.
Right.
So
you weren't particularly bothered about that, as I can see. No beads of sweat yet, anyway.
But it wasn't that easy for you to get behind the colours here with the red on the right, you know, near the middle pocket. You had to make sure it missed that. So it sort of just prevented you from getting over behind the green again there.
Yeah, it was also, I think, in the early stages of this frame, from what I can remember, the balls went particularly awkward, and it didn't help even, and the pressure made it even worse, so we had some funny old shots. Well, there was quite a nice little shot there from you, Dennis, deliberately putting the blue down by the green so that I couldn't pot that either.
Well, we will see it coming up here because a couple of days after that I was playing Cliff Wilson, and I mean, Cliff's not renowned for being a safety player. I think the last time Cliff played a safety shot was 1949. And Cliff said to me, he said, this final frame was the best safety he'd ever seen in his life. You know, so coming from Cliff Wilson, that was quite a compliment, I suppose.
Well, this is the first time I've seen the whole frame, and I'm not a great watcher of old videos, but it'll be very interesting to see how the frame develops. I might have a bet on myself this time, I don't know.
You've never actually sat and watched this whole frame,
No.
which is the most famous frame.
No, Dennis, I don't really like watching, especially when I lose, but Dennis lent me his Irish video, which records programs you don't like and then plays them back when you're out. So that's how I've watched it. As you can see, that what's happening here is all the balls are going in horrible places, really. It might be okay early on in a match when you're a bit free and easy, but you've got to try and make every shot count. It becomes much more difficult.
A little bit. Well, I wasn't too pleased with that there.
Weren't you? Go on, tell us another
Well,
one.
there was no there was no path back down the table, and the double kiss. It probably could have been worse than that, but it left a fairly easy.
Did I get this? Oh, yeah. See, the blue's not on the spot. Again, that makes it more difficult to make a break with the pink, the black and the blue not on its spot. You have to go down for the ball colours or wait for an opportunity to get the blue back.
But I think the pattern of this early stage of this final frame was very much the cat and mouse and the safety play, wasn't it?
It does tend to be. I think you get you get two different types of games in final frames. You either get a very cagey game, or one player tends to make a big break and finishes it off early.
I think this is where you see he's got a very, very easy red here, but the pink and black still tied up, so he's got to come back down for the blue. And to control the position, I mean, he's screwing the ball sort of back about six feet, so it's not easy to control it. And in fact, you just under-hit that one slightly.
That's right. Well, I was playing to hold the white ball on the blue spot so that it wouldn't go back on there again afterwards. Work that one out. I must have played a safety shot here. I wouldn't have gone for a shot here. It was pointless trying to keep on potting ball colours with the risk of missing the shot. Now we're in a position to play safety shots and cut off one whole side of the table. As you can see, the pink ball is stopping any safety shots to the left of the table. So now it becomes a very hard type of safety where you have to sort of roll onto balls a lot, I think, and try and make sure you don't leave anything down the top of the table. You went for that one, did you? OK.
That just confirms that you definitely haven't watched the frame, Steve.
No, I haven't at all, no.
But once again, I didn't really finish on a colour there. I'm in a similar position to the one you were in previously.
This is where a lot of younger players or less experienced players can fall down a little bit. I mean, one of the things that's very good about the both of us as players, good match players, is that we can mix it, so to speak. We can pot a few if we need to, but also be a little bit patient when we have to be. And when there's nothing much on, it's the worst thing in the world is to go for that extra one, because that usually gets you into trouble.
Yes, you've both been known to be a bit patient at times.
We
in
can
the
be
early hours of the
patient.
morning.
Yes, we can be. Well, there's nowhere else to go. Come on.
That was the first time I'd reversed the roles. I'd been on the bottom cushion for the last 3 shots. So now it was Steve's turn to be in a little spot of trouble.
So even though Dennis potted the red and didn't get on a colour and didn't score a lot, sometimes you pot a red to get the advantage, and that's all you do. But that little advantage is worth a few points usually in the end. Oh, the balls are terrible, really, aren't they?
See, what so many people said to me, having watched this, and there were about 18.5 million watching at this stage, they said, were these two players conscious of the fact that this was the frame to decide the World Championship, or do they just play it frame by frame?
When you've been out there all day, it does become the norm, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just another frame. I feel that way anyway. I don't know about.
Well, it is. I suppose we both left the arena just to sort of compose ourselves and pay a little visit as well. I suppose we've been out there a long time, and it's just another frame. But I think the atmosphere with the people when we come back in again, and then we sort of shook hands before it.
Yeah, you obviously know it's the last frame, but it's still, if you've been doing something all day long, and it's something we do every day of our life, is put little balls in holes, it's not as hard to do under pressure as you would think sitting at home. But it obviously makes a difference when you see some of the mess-ups we make later on. Well, I'll make a few anyway, I know that.
I think we'll see plenty of evidence of the pressure later on in this frame.
But this is where the balls were starting to congregate on the top cushion. It's amazing the concentration on both our faces at this stage. Now this is where the safety that Cliff Wilson was talking about, where we had to sort of flick the balls very thin. And when you're under a lot of pressure to hit the ball right on the extreme edge, it's very, very difficult.
Why, did you miss this one?
Well, with those glasses, how could you miss?
Somebody told me that a couple of days afterwards, one of your kids trod on your glasses and smashed the frames, and that you went out and made a 1,470 break. Is that right?
It's a cracker.
Oh, yes. Oh, did he fluked it? Look at that. Well, that's the luckiest shot I've ever seen in my life.
I wasn't too bothered about potting the red. I was trying to screw the cue ball back into baulk there.
Well, we can see where now all of a sudden now we've got about 8 or 9 reds on the top cushion there around the black, and it's a definite. We've had quite a lot of tactical battles in the past, haven't we, in some of the World Championships, and this was another one. Getting back to the glasses, 2 days after the World Championships I had to go and play an exhibition in Sheffield, and I drove up myself. I was obviously a bit disappointed and very upset and a bit touchy as well, and I went in a petrol station, filled up, and there was an advert, free with every 6 gallons, 2 tumblers. So I just paid the money. I'm just walking out, and the girl said, "Do you want glasses?" I said, "You trying to be funny?"
Yeah, that was my sister, Steve.
Oh, hit that bad. Ooh. I was trying to hit that on the right-hand side of the red, so push it back into the pack. Now I'll give Dennis a.
Well, once again, it's one of those shots you mentioned earlier where I just pot the red, I think, and then sort of gain the initiative again.
Did you not get on the pink from there? I can't really see the angle.
Well, do you know, it's amazing. I've seen the frame once when I talked over it with David, and even yet I can't remember everything.
Oh, no.
I was a little bit straight there, too.
So once again, really, what you're doing is potting a red just to try and get an advantage, which is so important at top-class level because you can clear up in one shot if you get a decent chance. Perhaps one of the best players at doing that and waiting around is Cliff Thorburn for gaining an advantage and then pressing it home. Well, there's a shot for you. Would you like to comment on that one?
That was a very strange shot I played there. Obviously, I would only gain 5 points if it had a win in, because there's no way I could leave anything or get position. So it was a funny shot. This is I think is where we start snipping the reds. John Williams there just getting slightly in the way. John, you got to feel a little bit sorry for John. He'd been on his feet for what, 10 hours?
That's right.
So it was a pretty long session for him.
Well, so far it's been one of the scrappiest frames I can remember watching for quite a while. But there again...
Oh, it gets worse.
It does, yeah. And there you see the bridge. I know they don't. This is a really awkward frame. Neither of us had had a really clear-cut chance yet. And I'm stuck over the yellow. They look Chinese. I should think I messed this one up, don't I? Oh, what a shot.
In fact, he's probably one of the best players bridging over a ball, Steve, with his long fingers and... is it a double-jointed thumb?
Yes,
yeah, that's right.
I've got another one for sale if you'd like. That was a very, very good shot. There's always a little less pressure on playing a safety shot than there is on a pot, even if it's a difficult shot. But some safety shots are still tremendous in their own right, even though you can't see the significance sometimes. Oh, yes, nice shot.
Did you put a little bit of swerve on that? It seemed to be you couldn't just quite get past the brown.
I can't remember, but I've obviously played it with right-hand side there to try and pot the red and make sure I don't cannon into the bunch of reds by the pink, and in doing that I've just totally messed it up.
Everything's blocked out there, isn't it, really? Nothing will...
Yes, it's a red, Dennis.
Well, I'm looking for everything at this stage. I was looking at the plant there, but as you can see, it just wasn't on into the middle pocket. You
have the choice here of potting it or playing the safety shot, as you can see, nodding. I think you should have gone for the pot and wobbled it there myself.
Well, the thing is, normally you probably would go for that pot, but we played quite a few safety shots, so now you're thinking, well, I'll wait till I get a decent opportunity and then, you know, sort of have a go for it.
That's called thinking. Once again, Dennis played a safety shot there, and even though he didn't get the red back down the table, the blue went safe. And the blue's now on the green. I've now got to make my mind up. Looks like I'm going for this, doesn't it? No, I'm not.
You missed it by a long way.
It's at this stage in the game here, it's very easy to play safe because the top right-hand pocket's completely blocked up there, and you just, if you do get into too much serious trouble, it's just a case of plopping one back on top of the cushion where the reds are.
I think that little shot we had of you just now, Steve, scratching her head, it looked as if it was getting more and more difficult to come to a decision.
Well, it was the frame itself was a frustrating frame for it wasn't a clear-cut frame.
Yeah.
And when the balls are going funny all the time, it gets a little bit frustrating, and you've just got to sort of hang in there. But it's not nice. It's much easier to have clear-cut decisions to make.
Right.
Now, that was the first one Steve had missed completely there.
That's right.
No, that's one where I had to clip very... Oh, dear me.
They're not. See, things like that, even though the crowd go ooh and ah, the last two shots, both failed strokes, were not serious mistakes. When I totally missed the reds, I didn't do any damage. If I'd have hit them thick, I would have done some damage, put them all over the place. And the fact that Dennis has gone in off in that pocket means that I've got the white ball in the D, and there's no reds down there, so it's no use to me at all.
See, those shots there, if you hit them half ball, then you're bringing the red out towards the other corner pocket.
Both having a lot of trouble, I think, trying to work out how to get an opportunity to open the frame up. Because when we're not trying to be negative, you want to try and make an opening for yourself, but you obviously can't make stupid mistakes. But we're both getting a little bit sort of, well, how are we going to get an advantage out of this frame? How are we going to get to make the other guy make a mistake? Because there's not that many ways at the moment of doing it.
And always, of course, the possibility, if you don't get it absolutely right, you shut the door on yourself, and he's in.
That's right. You can always... You usually get more chances in the last frame of winning it, of making mistakes, than some of the earlier ones. But you still never know.
It's amazing how the crowds these days appreciate the safety side of the game.
But I think they were appreciating that 2 days of snooker starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday and now it was getting on to midnight on the Sunday was coming down to just this. Everything that had gone 8-0 and then coming back and then 17-15. Wipe it all out. It's all down to what happens on this table in the next 40 minutes or so.
I was in a lot of trouble here, really. Now, it's amazing the crowd reacted as soon as the white hit the red there.
Ooh, Look at that. I tell you what, we all pull faces and all do things, but really we're all a little bit posers when we're out there in our own little ways, you know. We all sort of do things. I mean, you can't help it really, because it's part of an act. You go, whatever you do, it's something that you don't necessarily do when you're practicing. So it's got to be something that's become part of you since you've been out there on the table all the years you've been playing. Because you would never look like that in practice at all in a million years, would you?
It's the tight lip there. It just shows you what...
Look at that smirk.
Well, that was more or less just telling you that you put me right in it there.
Well, you haven't got a bug behind there. You're talking to somebody. That's secret.
Well, now we're getting to the stage here, David, where one mistake, because they're starting to open up slightly, one mistake, and as you say, sort of 17 days, or in my case, 13 years, trying to win the World Championship would have all been out the window.
But at the end of a long season, to bring the most important tournament of the season down to just one frame is a real tester. Nobody wants to lose it, and there's been, I think, any two that get in the final stages to the final of competitions feel that way.
Looks to be a bit of a fine mess, though, Dennis.
Yeah, it was a very difficult spot to be in. I caught that a little bit thick.
Not many. Have you got away with that? You look like you've got away with it the way you're sitting down. Yeah.
But it opened the black out there, didn't it, really? But it gave you a chance to really stick me right back in trouble. You're just looking there to see where you want to put the white.
There's a lovely angle here to get behind the blue if you can. It's and this corner of the table down here by the blue is a tremendous place at the moment to play safety shots into. Because the pink once again is guarding the rest of that table, and there's no real escape route back out the other side. This is what the game's all about at the top level after a while. It's all about getting the initiative.
You know, it's amazing, David. You know, you hear people talking around the country about about finals being fixed. All you got to do is look at the expression on both our faces there. And I mean, Steve, I've known Steve a long time. Steve wouldn't let his grandma win a frame against him.
I'll do it at Christmas.
Not quite as much money on it, though.
We play for the fruity bit in the Christmas pudding. So that was perfect shot. We could go on all night doing these safety shots, couldn't we?
You went on for quite a time.
But he clearly has the advantage here with the safety exchange. I suppose by this stage anyway, you've played so much on the table, you've got the speed off to perfection really, which helps on the on the safety exchanges. And just look at the concentration there; it's amazing.
Well, there's a mistake. It's given you an opportunity to hot this red, come round the back of the reds.
Now that's the first one where we mentioned earlier about just hitting it a little bit too thick. You know, you send the red out towards the pocket.
I'll be sitting down in my chair now and thinking, oh God, if he pots this and gets on the black and the reds, it's my own fault.
Were you thinking then I was 8-0 up?
No, it doesn't really enter your mind.
Oh,
it does when you. It doesn't. Well, I can tell you till the cows go. It doesn't. Good shot. The only time you think about what might have been is afterwards. But when you're actually doing it, it never crosses your mind at all. Because it's too much to think about. Instead of, if you thought about it, you wouldn't be able to stand around, walk around the table, because your mind would be in complete turmoil.
It's not like the drowning man with the life flitting before his eyes then.
No, not at all. I don't think I've ever once thought, God, if I'd have played such and such, I'd have still been in front at all. Never think like that.
I think
that's one of the things about thinking positively.
Yeah. As you mentioned there, probably with me finishing on the black, as Steve said, you know, he was thinking, I've made a mistake here, the whole thing could go here. And I was sort of thinking, well, this is the first opportunity. Let's make the most of this. I've got a great chance.
Even so, the black still goes on its own spot and it's a bit awkward. But you should get a few from here, shouldn't you?
Yeah, well, you see, I'm moving this red and I can get on the pink. And probably if you look at it from here, if I can get on the red, in between the red I'm playing in the black now, in such a way I can clear the black with the cannon onto the other red. But it is complicated,
yeah,
but you know, it's like yourself, you do think ahead even at this stage. And I think this is what I was playing to do from this pink, but didn't quite get the position side of it right.
Really now Dennis is looking for one perfect positional shot to open up the whole game for himself. But that is just as hard to do under pressure as to pot the ball. The weight of a shot.
No,
and he's just underhit it there. Yeah. Oh.
Well, I underhit that by, what, about 4 inches further. I wanted the white back.
I told you to put that extra bit on your cue at the end.
And of course, Steve, you can do nothing.
Well, that's right. You've got to sit down. But I think that's the fascination of the game for playing it anyway, is that when you get your chance, you're on the table, and when you've missed, you've got to sit down and wait. The only game harder than that is billiards. When you play that, then you wait for about 400 while a bloke makes that. In the old days, you used to make thousands.
You could go on holiday, couldn't you?
Well, you could. They had a game once for 2 weeks, and the guy made it just under $500,000, and the bloke used to turn up every day, put his coat on the back of the chair, and then go across the road to the cafe.
Well, he went through 2 new tips, and he hadn't played his shot. Just chalking it.
Yeah. So they changed that rule.
You see, there just was a fraction, another sort of an inch up the table, and I could get at the pink, you know, perfectly. But
when you think about it, the shot you played to pot the pink in the middle pocket and screw back, you'd have been better off playing it hard or whatever, and then at least you're on a red in the top half of the table.
You see, I went close to the cushion off this. You know, I wanted to be sort of about 18 inches from the side cushion. Now I played to drop it in, and really have gone, you know, that's just messed the whole thing up completely there. There's no way I can go for this red now with the position I'm in.
Yes, looks like you're getting ready, Steve, there.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, when you're actually sitting down, I think the one thing you do is you're not really hoping that the bloke misses.
No.
You're not just
hoping he doesn't pot the ball.
No, you do. You're not really hoping. I think because you expect the guys to pot the easy ones. You're more surprised when they miss an easy one. But you're looking, I think, to see perhaps if they get out of position. Yeah. And there, when he played the pink and came to the cushion, I thought, oh, well, that's the end of his break. He'll play safe now. That's when you chalk your cue up.
22.
I'm sort of looking up at the gods there, thinking, well, what a golden opportunity just went by.
But you'd have been pleased to get 22 on the table as well, on the board.
Oh, that was a bad kiss, wasn't it?
Well, I'd have been in anything anyway. I don't care. I'll go for the yellow if I don't get on the blue. Now, I think from this position, even though I've got perfectly on the blue, am I not in the wrong position to screw back? Didn't I have a bit of trouble?
You did run into problems here.
Well,
but
the brown was in the way for screwing back, sort of without touching the cushion, and the green was in the way for screwing up the table. And there was only, even though the reds were fairly open, they weren't open so much into the top right-hand pocket, which was the pocket. Let's see what I do.
Yeah, you've come off the side cushion.
Yeah, it was difficult. Well, a great shot. I mean, like, perfect. Get the spider out. Play the shot with the spider, screw back off the side cushion. And as you can see, I'm well pleased with that.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, I think that was significant because rarely do we see you actually make an exclamation like that. In fact, later on you begin to talk to the crowd a little bit.
You should ask the referees what I say.
But you seem to be in a rather different state of mind by then.
Well, I would know. Well, for that particular instance, I mean, me saying yes was really sort of telling myself I played a bad shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was relaxed enough to know I played a bad shot. I wasn't going, oh dear, about it.
Yeah.
I think, is this the one, in fact, Steve, I bet you don't believe what you played here, because I certainly
What am I going to do?
couldn't believe. Just watch this shot, because I bet you don't remember what you did here. Now just watch this, I bet you'll have a laugh at this one. But I think you...
Don't tell me. Am I?
Yeah, you got away with it slightly, but this shot could have cost you the frame.
I can't really see it.
Yeah, you won't believe this one.
Mind you, I'm a bit difficult to play a safety shot. Why don't I go for side cushion onto the red on top cushion?
Well, yeah.
Oh, cracked up. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Hair's running. Oh, no. I think I'm trying to get back down the table and try and hopefully pot the ball, but this is... I'll probably cannon the blue, don't I?
Well, you bounce everywhere. I've never seen a shot like this. Well, certainly never seen you play one like this.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Well, look at this.
Well, you were rather fortunate.
I'll tell you what, well, after playing that, I deserved to lose it. I think I didn't I, in the end?
But that was an amazing choice of shot from you there.
I think what happened was, I'll tell you what happened there was the fact I got in, I potted a red and blue. I should have... You like that one, didn't you?
Well, I was smiling there, but I think underneath I was saying, you lucky so-and-so.
Yeah, I think what happened was that the fact I potted the red and the blue and I should have made more out of the opportunity, I was reluctant to give in to the fact that I was probably a little bit impatient myself there.
Yeah.
Especially after you scored 22, which is such a mammoth break in the last frame. But you're on the red here, aren't you?
Well, I couldn't quite reach this, you see. If I had had your long legs, I would have took this one on. But watch, I'm trying to... The cue's underneath my body, which would have been... It would have been a bit silly because... in fact, I almost played the shot. And there again, that could have cost me the match if I had went for it and missed it.
Don't you usually play these left-handed? Screw back?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. If it's the first frame. I'm looking to see what would happen to white when I cannon into the red there, but it
What
would
about
have
if you play it with top there, can you not?
Yeah, if I had been able to reach it, it would have been the right choice of shot, but I think I made the right decision in playing the safety shot, really. And in fact, I don't even play a good safety shot.
Well, after my last shot, you wouldn't have had to.
I mean, it's so easy to put you down behind the brown here, off two cushions.
You're talking to that bloke behind your ear again. What's going on there? I was playing two of you.
There's a little leprechaun. Well, I've got to miss the pink, go between the pink and brown, and this was a bad shot for someone that used to play billiards. Look at that.
Steve Davis, 4.
It's amazing what you do, isn't it?
Now, these are shots, Steve, when I'm in the commentary box, this next red coming up here. These are the sort of shots you practice quite a bit, really. I think you're probably about the best player in the game at knocking in a shot like this.
Do I get it?
If I remember right, you get the cracking red.
I missed the blue.
There was the Romford roll. I think you must have been delighted with that shot.
I think I missed this blue, don't I? After potting such a good red, I missed the blue. I remember missing a ball, a very easy ball after potting a good one, that I just couldn't believe I'd missed. And you can only put a shot down, you can put that down to two things, carelessness, and I doubt very much if it was that, or pressure, and I overcut it, I hit this top jaw.
I think you're thinking more of the red than you are of the blue.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really move your head, kept perfectly still, so you just forgot the pot.
And you don't win it from here?
No.
There are a lot of chances going begging in this game, and my drink had nearly run out.
Mind you, how many last frames you know, they do go like this, where both players get the chances and the pressure just gets to them. Oh yeah, that was it. If I miss the black, I'm absolutely perfect on the blue. So that was a total disaster there again.
I'm sitting in my chair now thinking, well, I can't believe my luck, or I can't believe he's messed the opportunity up. Exactly the same way as I let him off the hook, but it's... it never ceases to amaze the way you can mess positions up, especially when there's a little bit of pressure and a shot that in practice would be elementary, just to play a little bit less stun and go up the ball a little bit and play a shot thing, then becomes a bit harder because you reach for the shot instead of playing it a little bit smoother.
You haven't seen anything yet, have you?
No, not at all, no.
But the amazing thing about the game, I know there was no break, well, there wasn't any breaks, 22 in the final frame here. There was an awful lot of breaks all the way through the final. You know, the standard of snooker was amazing.
I think what signifies the way you two were playing this match, there wasn't a century break in the whole of the final. You were all playing percentage balls and good breaks, solid breaks.
Yeah.
It goes like that sometimes.
I think if you look back over the World Championships, even when Steve was winning them, it's the player who makes the most 50 breaks, 60 breaks, is the one that wins the championship.
I love that phrase, even when Steve was winning the World Championship.
Well, you know what I mean.
At this stage, there's only 10 points in it. I mean, it's ridiculous, really, after what's gone on.
That's right. So this is quite an amazing little sequence here.
I was starting to feel at this stage, because that was the second one Steve had missed altogether, so I was thinking, well, I wonder is the pressure getting a little bit more to Steve than it is to me, but it's soon changed round again.
You put me in again there, hoping I might miss it again, eh? What did I do?
Have a look.
I'll probably miss it again. Well, I made sure I didn't hit it thick, I know that.
No, not very thick.
Perhaps I did hit it thick. Oh, done you there, look. Now, when that happens and you put somebody in and they play a shot like that, you're gutted. You think, why didn't I play that shot? It wasn't that difficult.
I don't think I've ever been so keyed up in a match before as I was in this final. It was amazing. I've never really experienced feeling like this before.
I don't think any audience in the Crucible or 18 million people at home had ever been as keyed up in a snooker match they were on this one.
That was a good shot. What, a table must roll off.
Yes.
I think he was just starting to get a little bit worried now.
Got the tables rolling off.
See, the reason I've put Steve back in again there, I would have, with the green there, I would have had to use the rest, the pink and green are sort of blocking it, so I didn't fancy playing the shot with the rest. Now Steve's
I'm a bit lankier, aren't I?
a little bit taller, so he could reach it there.
Still not a very good shot, that. The idea of a safety shot is to try and put the opponent in trouble, not Stick him on the baulk line so he can have a nice easy shot. There we go, the black's getting pushed over to the other pocket now, makes it a bit difficult for all the reds.
You see, 20 in front there, that's quite a good lead at this stage of the
when the balls
proceedings.
Are all, when the balls are all in awkward positions, a lead of 20 is like a lead of 60 sometimes. Oh, where the cue went there, look. Sorry about that, I mean, I've played a few bad ones.
It's my thumbs here, it's not as long as you, it keeps sliding off the end.
Oh, that was quite a nice shot. Yeah, I'm really pleased about this. I'm now in so much trouble, I think, from this position, that really I've got to try and... I think I've got to come off a cushion, I don't know. But by wobbling in the jaws, he's put me behind the brown. My escape routes are non-existent, and the balls are not that tightly packed now that I can get away with just rolling onto them. So now I'm doing a sort of an Oscar-winning performance in trying to get out of it. That's to shake head for me Nan to know that I'm not actually enjoying this part of the game. I had to take a risk there.
Yeah, that was one of those shots where, you know, he's got to play that shot and he's not quite sure exactly how they're going to finish up, but he certainly couldn't have played it much better.
This must have gone on for ages, eh?
Well, I think we talked about this before, David, just after it, and even Barry Hearn was saying he spoke to people who thought the frame lasted somewhere between 20 and 35 minutes.
Well, when I said to you about a 68-minute frame, you said, well, which one was that? Not the last one. I mean, you can believe it, could you?
Actually, that must be very close to being a record for the length of a frame in a match. It's just over the hour, I know that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get a frame lasting any longer than that, because I don't think you'd ever get a frame last an hour and a half, even if both players were playing terrible and there was a lot of pressure.
I forget we worked out how many shots we played in the frame. It wasn't that we were playing slowly, it was just the amount of safety shots that we're playing.
Yes, there have been longer frames in matches, but I think this was the longest of this particular championship.
I mean, if you look at the balls there, there's not one colour on their spots, so that shows you how the frame went. Usually, you know, you get most of the colours still on their spots at this stage.
As I'm sure somebody will know the longest ever frame. It's a fair bet that either Cliff Thorburn and Terry Griffiths was playing.
Well, I'm glad you said that, David.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be in your shoes when you meet them again.
You see, we're now around about midnight on day 2.
Yeah, now you see, I was looking at the plant, although the reds are too far apart, but I was too much over the left side of the table. And that's the first time I've missed the red, and straight away I thought to myself, Steve will be able to go for the plant here. And I think you scored quite a few. It really...
I got back in the game. Luck and bad luck plays a part in all snooker, and no good snooker player ever moans and uses it as an excuse for losing or winning. But there's always instances in matches that they could have been very, very slightly. But the idea is to get yourself in situations where the bad luck or the good luck doesn't come into it by playing better. And when it goes to a last frame, anything can happen, and that's the exciting thing.
Steve's gone back to his chair here. He realises that this is a chance to clinch it. As I say, I was the first ball I'd missed playing a thin cut. And I thought, oh, God blimey, look at this.
I think this is what we were talking about earlier when everybody uses this word pressure, but one small mistake can wipe out hours and hours of play, can't it?
Absolutely,
That's right.
Yeah.
Now I've got 3 reds in the top half of the table that I can clear up, and then come down for the loose red, down by the yellow spot roughly. And that's the order I'd like to take them in. And
as you say, I spent 3/4 of an hour building up a
20 lead, that's right. And now in 2 seconds it's been brought back to naught. I had to, being about 20 behind, whatever, I had to get quite a long way into the colours to still be in a winning position. And if I could have just potted the yellow and green, it would have been lovely.
Says a lot, that, Dennis.
Well,
he thought, well, that's the first chance one player thought that perhaps it was going to slip away, but there was a lot more drama than that.
You see that shot there now, that was just to drop that red and to finish on the blue was you know, a lot of pressure on that. It was quite a difficult shot along the top cushion.
Now, to people sitting at home at this stage of the match, they wouldn't have been able to stand up, in their opinion, but you do a lot of this on automatic because you spend hours and hours of potting balls, and even though there's that much pressure attached, you can go through the motions and do it on automatic pilot, so to speak. It's only when you've got a problem you have to think through it clearly.
19.
Now what I'm going to do here, this is a shot. I've got to play this with the rest, and I want to get on the pink. And I haven't played it hard enough. I wasn't unlucky. It was a bad shot to leave myself, and I snookered myself behind the yellow. I was so annoyed with myself. But the fraction was so close.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're beginning to remember every ball from that grey period at the beginning.
The colours on, yeah. You don't remember the early shots. The colours stage is when you start remembering it. If I'd have been a fraction more, like half an inch, I would have been able to see the pink, and I might have been able to. But as you can see, I'm really pleased with that. I thought I'd have another drink and finish off my water. This is total posing.
That's a little trademark here.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the, even though I've been sort of taking the mickey a little bit out of going back to my seat and drinking a glass of water, sometimes it can.
The last time, or the first time I played you in the World Championships, you had a ham sandwich in the middle of the match.
I had a ham sandwich. Well, the tournament organiser said it was okay if I had it, and then I was slagged in the papers for eating a ham sandwich and bringing the game.
Did you give him time to eat it?
Disrepute.
Oh.
Well, you've gone ahead here, haven't you? From
I've gone in front of you.
Went up to that break of 53, wasn't it? Up to a score of 53 with that break, which was beginning to look like a championship-winning break.
I'm in a very strong position at the moment. I was in a very strong position in this frame up until Dennis potted the black to win it. But there we go. Look, I'm 9 in front, which is lovely. That means I've got the yellow, green, and brown before Dennis can eat into my lead.
But this, I'd no way. The angles here, I couldn't come off 2 cushions because of the pink. The blue was slightly blocking. Well, it was blocking the straight up and down shot. So I've had to go way out wide with loads aside to try and avoid hitting the blue and make an angle. I'm sort of just putting a lot of right-hand side on it there.
I didn't understand why he could have played a Massey shot.
Well, it was...
Foul, Steve Davis, 4.
Yeah, he was in so much trouble there that he would have done well to get very close to it, wouldn't he? It was a very difficult get out of the safety shot. And of course he's done the best possible thing, which is, even though he's missed it, is to have played the shot. That if he missed it, he's not left me a shot on, which is...
The green was playing quite a role here, because to pot the yellow and get to the green was...
difficult.
Oh, nice little kiss there.
Did you like the way I played that? Here we have a situation, is if I could have put the blue or the pink safe in very safe positions, I would have been much happier, because that meant Dennis would have been a great clearance to have cleared up in one go.
Well, you see, even if I hadn't been able to pop the yellow there, I couldn't have got down on the green, so it probably the safety shot, even if I had been able to see the yellow to pot it, would have been the best shot to play.
Well, all of a sudden the pen has gone back in the accountant's pocket again. I think it was about to, a few minutes ago, about to write a name on a cheque, but it's changed again. Oh.
I was a bit disappointed there, but once again, as I said, the green, to pop the yellow here and get to the green is very, very difficult.
I've in a position really where, unless I get on the green perfect, it's not worth me even potting the yellow. But I've got to go for the pot yellow. It's very difficult when the ball is that close to the cushion. The topspin tends to work against the shot. You put topspin on, it hits the cushion, and it's still revolving forward, even though it's coming the other way. But I made a fairly good attempt at that. I didn't know I played that well.
Well, I was just wondering, you did well to get back.
Yeah.
In fact, you hit it too well.
Oh. It's exciting, isn't it, even though I know the result?
Well, I was delighted there that the white finished in the position it did, because if it was 12 inches out from that cushion, Steve would have gone for the green and have been able to get up towards the brown.
Well, I can't see.
Oh, I know what you played here. This is where he didn't play to pot it, he played to angle it and snooker it behind the pink. Because there's no point in potting it where the brown is. Do you remember?
I can't see where the ball's... Oh, because I thought that's the pink, it's not the brown. I thought it was the brown.
So you didn't play to pot this, you played to angle the green.
Yes, I played to try and put the white behind the pink and play a safety shot. It was...
In fact, you didn't hit the angles.
No. That's a standard shot. You don't try to pot the ball. Yeah. You try and put it behind... you try and hit the far jaw, that hits the near jaw and comes up the table. And I was very lucky to get away with that, as nice as it came.
This was a funny little decision to make here, because I couldn't hit the green. Look at that smile. Dear me. I couldn't hit the green. Now, I've had to swerve around the pink. Now, if you get into the white too well, I'm going to knock the green towards the middle pocket.
Oh.
So I'm winding up the old...
look at this.
Well, it was getting a little bit sticky out there. And I hit this perfect, really.
You've got to clip the green onto the cushion here. Yeah.
I couldn't have done any better, really.
Could you couldn't hit it at all?
No.
Or could you clip it so thin that you'd have pushed it over the corner
No,
pocket?
if I had been able to hit it thin, I would have just concentrated and put the white up on the top.
I suppose I've played a full in the mush shot, you know? Yeah.
No, yeah, look where this goes. Are you sure?
Well, I didn't want that, look. I'm miles away from the brown. I'd have preferred the green to have stayed on the table there and gone around the table and played a safety shot. I thought I was quite unlucky. If the green stays on the table, you're in more trouble than you would be for this shot. Oh, I've given you a chance, look.
I've just had to go for this. because I haven't really got a safety shot on, and I must admit at this stage I didn't fancy the long brown.
Well, this is if Dennis could have cleared up from here, his first opportunity to clear the balls, his first clear-cut opportunity would have been a tremendous feat. And this sort of shots, I mean, he's got to try and play position as well. He hasn't just got to try and pot the ball.
It's a little bit straight there, so I've got to force it slightly.
It goes everywhere. It's all over the place. And here we go, and the brown's going safe. It's a 6-4 the shot. Now the blue's gone. This was now we both had a few goes at the brown, and I think the blue and the pink stayed where they were roughly from now on, didn't they?
Well, 18 the difference. You only need the brown here, so
that's right. I was in a position where I need, if I get a chance at the brown, I'm going to go for it, and this was a chance. Even though it doesn't look particularly easy, it was a half chance, and I had to go for it.
Just some of the angles just make it look a little bit easier than it really is at times. But you left me a
horrible shot, yeah.
Now, if that white stops about 6 inches out,
quite pleased at that, I think.
Very good piece of commentary there.
Yes, I think I had just got away with it, as they say.
Dear me, and I was thinking...
God, we're all cracking up left, right and centre now.
I was saying to myself that, oh, if that white had been out 6 inches, at a great angle to screw down for the blue.
Actually, I mean, even the crowd were laughing at how much pressure there was. A lot of the crowd were laughing to relieve some of the pressure.
We see, I'm digging down into this with loads of right-hand side to try and get down for the blue. Oh.
I'm just doing a few deep breathing exercises.
Page 6.
Page 6 of the successful snooker book.
Hoping that somebody up there likes me.
Yes. I'm wondering if he's going to pot this or not.
It's just the side, really. Putting side on at this stage is...
I think hitting the ball's quite hard. But the crowd seems to be getting quite excited at this point for some reason.
Quiet, please.
What did I play here, do you know?
Well, I think you were trying to get me in behind the black.
Yeah, it was a bad shot.
Sort of making sure you're getting the brown down the table. Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a shot that was. Oh, well.
Mind you, it took a long time over the next shot.
That was a terrible shot for me because I put the black on in the middle of the table. It was an all-round bad shot, really. I think I'd have probably been better clipping it.
Now, look at the angle of this. I mean, there's no point in going to pot that brown because if I miss the pot, I'm bound to leave you. If I get the pot, I'm not on the blue. Yeah. But it wasn't that easy to play safe. You know, what would you have done?
There.
Yeah, in that sort of situation.
I think I'd try to clip it thin, and I didn't roll off with a net.
Sort of take the white down the table.
Down the table and trust that, I don't know, it's not enough, is it? And trust that I get it on the bottom cushion.
Well, I think I played it the other way. I sent the brown down.
Did you?
But I didn't know what to do here.
You do look in two minds, I must admit. I was sitting in my chair probably... I don't think I was looking for you to make a mistake. I was just waiting to see what shot you were going to play. I think you left me a long... Did you not leave me a long brown to try and pot? Didn't you play across the face of this and left me a long brown and I missed it into the top left-hand corner pocket?
Well, maybe I did play the white down and hit it a bit thick, did I? Do you know, it's amazing.
And we were playing. At this stage, you can be excused for taking half an hour shot if you want, really. Now, I've recovered my composure there, just...
Yeah, I played the shot that you said, but hit it a little bit thick.
Now you've left. If you'd have got the white ball on the bottom cushion, it would have been a good shot. But now you've given me another chance of playing the brown, and I think I missed it by about a foot.
This is where I thought Steve possibly would have knocked this in because he doesn't have to play. It wasn't a
bad shot.
Yeah, you don't have to play for the blue. You're 18 in front.
Yeah, I played to leave the white on the top cushion if I could. Yeah. It wasn't that difficult, pressure-wise.
Mind, there's such a tough... These shots are easy whenever you're sort of 8 frames in front.
Now, see that shot there? I've missed the brown, but I pushed the black into the position where Dennis had first crack at it from that position later on, where he tried the double. But now this was one of the most, I think, was the best shot of the tournament as far as I'm concerned, because Dennis, I was expecting him to play a safety shot of some sort, and I think what you did here was you played the best shot, I think, of the tournament. To pot this brown and to get position on the blue was incredible. I was sitting waiting and thinking, I wonder how he's going to play this safe. It's a bit difficult, a bit awkward. And he got down and stunned it in and got on the blue. A phenomenal shot. It was just a great shot to pot the brown.
Before I played that, I thought if I'm going to go out, it's the final frame. If I'm going to lose it, you know, I'm not going to lose it playing a safety shot that went wrong. So I thought, well, if I'm going to go out, I'll have a go. You peeped up there. Did you see? You just
see where the white was with raced. See, he's played a tremendous blue to keep on the pink. You left yourself a bit close to the cushion.
Yeah, I wanted to come out off the cushion a bit, and.
But this under pressure is a very, very difficult shot to play because he's got to play it fairly soft to keep it in the bottom half of the table, and of course, if it wobbles, he's lost the game.
It's funny, John Spencer was.
Who's that?
I don't know who that is. John Spencer was saying this shot he reckoned was more difficult than the blue.
This was a tough shot, yeah.
For the simple reason, if I don't pot this, I'm tight on the cushion, if I don't pot this, there's no way the pink goes safe. But this is where I'd made my mind up, David.
To go for the double?
Yeah, to play across the table, to leave a double on the black.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good shot. Now, when it's landed there, I'm thinking, oh no, don't go for the double, please, you might get it.
I went walking past the trophy there.
That's right.
Steve's looked over.
Oh, you mind?
I give it a little kiss there, and I thought, well, I'm going for the black. It might be the only chance. This might be the nearest I'll get to it.
This was so exciting to be involved with. I mean, even though I lost and Dennis won, to be part of this final.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, especially after more tournaments have gone by and you've re-established yourself or whatever. Yeah. But to look back at this, it was so exciting to be out there. It will never, I don't think it'll ever happen again.
You said you hadn't seen...
Because I couldn't see.
Yeah.
He was in the way of the pocket.
The crowd, I said before, the crowd at the side of the black there, they sort of drove me crackers here because they all shouted the blank was in.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
And I believed them.
Well, you would just.
No, he was right in the way of my line of shot. I couldn't see if the black was going in or not.
Just listen to the crowd; they're remarkable.
Mind, I was very fortunate there. Well, unfortunate the black didn't go in, but fortunate to get it safe. Now, this shot says a lot for Steve Davis because at the final black, the last frame, and he's hit this safety shot absolutely perfect.
I'm getting quite excited watching this. What about you?
Did you realise it was this good, Steve?
No, I don't think. I think I might go home and watch it again afterwards.
Now you see, he's hit that perfect. At this stage, you know, I'm thinking, I've got to go for the double, or sometimes if it doesn't double, it checks back. I didn't fancy
you played
playing
a double,
the safety
yeah,
shot.
that's right. You played a long double.
I've got...
You're not having a drink of water here, you're copying.
I'm thinking to myself, should I go for the double?
No, you're just wiping your hands. This was, I mean, really, well, I think if it wasn't the last frame of the the tournament, you would have, in the first frame of the tournament, you wouldn't have gone for the double. I think you'd have probably played across the face and tried to repeat what I did.
Yeah.
But it's strange when you're there and you only need one ball. It's so close and yet it's so far away. He went for the double. I thought, oh, he could do anything now.
I was trying to keep the white tight, you know, down the bottom end, close to the cushion, but didn't. Oh, go in. Oh, this time. Listen to the crowd as it goes up past the middle pocket.
Every pocket.
But this is, you can probably clear a little point there, Steve. We haven't had a chance to talk about it, but did you have a go for the double here?
No, I was in a very difficult situation. Is that I couldn't really play too far to the top cushion because it was too wide an angle. I had to hope I could hit the top cushion and still hit it fairly straight to get the white ball back. And as it happened, it checked up even more, and I don't think I hit it that well. I think it checked up a lot. I hit it too hard.
The kiss here, if you hadn't a kiss, it would have left an easier black ball.
That's right.
Whoa.
Whoa, oh, look at that. Oh.
It's amazing, David. People, I mean, this is the first time Steve and myself have talked about in the final. It's amazing.
Now, I mean, what's going for? Well, I expect Dennis to pot it, but
goodbye world.
That's right. Yeah, you can't.
But at the same time here, I'm screwing the white. Why I'm screwing the white onto the side cushion?
That's right.
You know, I should just pot it really.
You probably think there's another ball left after the black.
Now I thought, look at that. I thought it was going to come up into the top pocket. I bent down there. Now I've walked away thinking I've left the black right over the pocket.
And it came out a little bit there. It's now. I've looked at that and I thought I can cut this in. I thought there's a chance I can cut this in, and I've got to go for it. Dennis. Look at his face, it's fantastic.
Look at this here. I mean,
1 o'clock. Now I know I can pot it. Oh, should have kept on me there. I think that would have been a picture as well. This was, well, it's not easy, but it's not difficult. It's one of those. It's one of those dodgy ones. I overcut it. Didn't even hit the jaws there. Look. And now I knew I'd missed it then, and I knew he'd pot that. The worst thing you can do with a shot, the one I've just missed, is hit it thick. And I think that was probably on my mind. I didn't want to hit it thick and leave it over the pocket.
But people keep asking me about the final black. It was an easy black, regardless of all the pressures, but I took so long over this shot.
You might miss it. Hold on.
One of these times I'm going to miss it.
You didn't get as emotional as I thought you would do. I thought you'd bawl your eyes out. Because the first time I won it, I cried my eyes out. I couldn't do anything else. I don't think you really had that much. You wasn't that tearful for quite a while.
I think it was the 13 years trying to win it, all the frustration coming out there when I nearly snapped the cue above all.
In fact, you said to me afterwards you hadn't realised you'd done that with a cue until you watched it.
No, I didn't. It was amazing, and we have a photograph now of that, and the expression on the faces. And I was just sort of pointing to Patricia there. Well, that's there.
Oh, you've gone there a bit. Look,
it's the big glass.